You think your memories are recordings. Like somewhere inside your brain, there's a perfect archive of your life. Every moment saved exactly as it happened, untouched, unchanged, waiting for you to replay it. But that's not what's happening. Right now, as you sit here, your brain is actively editing your past, not just remembering it, rewriting it, altering details, changing emotions, filling in gaps. And the most unsettling part is this. You don't have access to the original version anymore. Think about a memory from your childhood, something that feels clear. A birthday, a trip, a random moment that feels real. What you're experiencing right now isn't the memory itself. It's a reconstruction because your brain doesn't store memories like a video. A better analogy is this. Your memory is like a Google Doc, not a PDF. Every time you open it, you can edit it. And every time you save, the previous version disappears. This idea goes back almost a century. In 1932, psychologist Frederic Bartlett conducted a series of experiments that changed how we understand memory. He asked people to read a story called The War of the Ghosts. Later, he asked them to recall it. What he found was surprising. People didn't reproduce the story accurately. They changed it. They removed unfamiliar details. They simplified strange parts. They reshaped it to fit their own expectations and cultural background. Bartlett concluded something radical for the time. Memory is not reproduction. It's reconstruction. Your brain doesn't retrieve the past. It rebuilds it using fragments and expectations. Decades later, psychologist Elizabeth Loftus showed just how fragile memory really is. In a famous 1974 study, participants watched videos of car accidents. Afterward, they were asked a simple question. How fast were the cars going when they hit each other? But for another group, the word hit was replaced with smashed. That one word changed everything. Participants who heard smashed reported higher speeds, and many of them even remembered seeing broken glass that was never there. Their brains didn't just recall the event, they rewrote it. Imagine your brain like a witness in court, except every time someone asks a question, the witness changes their testimony. Loftus demonstrated this even more clearly in what became known as the Lost in the Mall experiment. Participants were told about events from their childhood. Most were completely attached to reality, but one was completely fabricated, getting lost in a shopping mall. At first, they didn't remember it, but after repeated suggestion and imagination, about a quarter of them began to remember it with details, with emotions, with certainty. Something that never happened became part of their personal history. But your brain doesn't need outside suggestion to distort reality. It does it on its own. In 1995, researchers Henry Rodegar and Kathleen McDermott conducted an experiment that revealed something even more unsettling. They read participants a list of related words: bed, rest, tired, dream, pillow. Later, when asked to recall the list, most people confidently remembered a word that was never said: sleep. The brain filled in the gap, not randomly, but logically, because your brain doesn't store exact information. It stores meaning. It stores patterns. Think of it like this. Your brain is not a camera. It's an AI prediction system. It takes incomplete data and fills in what it thinks should be there, and then it treats that guess as a memory. For a long time, scientists believed that once a memory was stored, it became stable, fixed. But in the year 2000, neuroscientist Karim Nader discovered something that changed everything. When a memory is recalled, it doesn't to stay intact. It becomes unstable again. It has to be stored all over again. This process is called memory reconsolidation. Every time you remember something, you are opening the file, modifying it, and saving a new version. The original doesn't stay untouched in the background. It just gets replaced. In a study conducted at Northwestern University in 2014, participants were asked to remember objects in specific locations. Later, those objects were moved. When tested again, participants didn't remember the original locations. They remembered the new ones. Their brains had updated the past to match the present. Imagine rearranging furniture in your house and then forgetting how it used to be. That's what your brain does with your memories. Your current state also changes what you remember. This is known as mood congruent memory. When you're feeling sad, Your brain becomes more likely to recall negative experiences. When you're feeling happy, it brings forward positive ones. Over time, this creates a feedback loop. Your mood shapes your memories, and your memories reinforce your mood. Think of your brain like a playlist. Your current emotional state decides which songs from your past get played, and eventually, that playlist becomes your story. But here's the deeper truth. Memory was never designed to preserve the past. Neuroscientist Daniel Schachter, in his work on the 7 sins of memory, argues that memory is designed for the future. The same system that allows you to remember also allows you to imagine, to simulate, to predict. Distortion is not a flaw, it's a feature. Your brain updates your memories to help you make better decisions going forward. But there's a cost, because as your memories change, so does your identity. Think about how you describe yourself. You don't list isolated events. You tell a story. I've always been this kind of person. I've never been good at that. That moment changed everything. But those statements are built on memories. And those memories have been rewritten again and again to support that narrative. You are not just remembering your life. You are editing it constantly. And here's the part most people don't realize. There's no untouched version of your past stored somewhere in your brain. No hidden archive, no original file. Every time a memory is recalled, it is changed. And the version you now trust is simply the latest draft. So think about that. Every important moment in your life, your childhood, your relationships, your decisions, exists only as a version your brain continues to update. And you believe it. Not because it's accurate, but because it feels real. Which leads to a strange possibility. The person you think you were may have never existed in the way you remember, and the life you believe you lived. Maybe closer to a story than a recording. You don't remember your past. You reconstruct it.